Hey YouTube, this is React City. I'm Paul.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is ReactCast.
Yeah.
So, we actually have a couple of little extra things for the fun facts because there was something actually from Death Note. Somebody was giving us a link to Death Note, and apparently there was a speech that L made on monsters. And so it helped inform his thought process. So
What do you mean on monsters? Just
see.
about monsters?
You'll see.
Okay.
Link in description.
There are many types of monsters in this world. Monsters who will not show themselves and who cause trouble. Monsters who abduct children. Monsters who devour dreams. Monsters who suck blood. And monsters who always tell lies. Lying monsters are a real nuisance. They are much more cunning than other monsters. They pose as humans, even though they have no understanding of the human heart. They eat, even though they've never experienced hunger. They study, even though they have no interest in academics. They seek friendship, even though they do not know how to love. If I were to encounter such a monster, I would likely be eaten by it. Because in truth, I am that monster.
Interesting.
So he sees himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he and Light were a lot more similar than we first thought.
Yeah.
Huh.
It informs a lot of the scenes that makes you wonder if he truly wasn't lying in those scenes where he said, I thought of you as a friend.
As a friend.
to Light," something like that.
Even though he knew deep down that no, this is Kira. He's like, I guess you're the closest person to me that I know. Wow.
Even when we were watching it, a lot of commenters were saying along the line that no, he's probably just trying to throw him off. But I rethought it after seeing that because he knows he acts ridiculous with the sugar and the way he sits and stuff like that. But now, after hearing that, I can't help but wonder if him not even trying to fit in is him accepting that he is this broken thing.
Yeah.
Where does this, like, what and blah, blah, blah. In the timeline of the show, when does this come out?
I have no idea.
Oh. I was like, when do they release this, like, if it gave any hint to something that was going on in the show at the time or something?
I believe it's somewhere from the manga. I don't know where.
Oh, okay.
But it seems like it was just something he was talking to himself. And then, this is the final piece of trivia. It's just for you, Rose. If someone said, if anyone watched 86, you may agree with me that Wyvern Squad in Akito is treated exactly like the 86 Battalion in the anime.
Yeah, basically. Very expendable. They're treated very expendable, basically.
Are they good at their job?
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's also a big piece of news. So One Piece's film, Red, that came out, stayed number one for the 7th week straight in Japan.
Ooh.
This is especially big news because that makes it the 7th all-time earning film in Japan and the 13th all-time highest earning film, even not anime, of all time in Japan.
Wow.
One Piece.
So this is like on the cusp of the end of One Piece too. It's like it's coming to an end. Maybe that's one of the reasons it was like
People are like
coming
trying
back
to absorb as much as possible before it's gone.
Let me see this. I want to get back into it. Like I feel like I'd get back into it. I didn't even know there was a movie.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask. Like, do you guys have any idea of why this show manages to persist so much further than others? Because there have been other great shows, like say Bleach, which was only just coming back. Have you heard about that?
Oh,
The
really?
1,000 Year Blood War.
Bleach
I
is
didn't
coming
know it
out.
was coming back.
That is one of the few animes that I never watched, yet I kept up with the lore, and I even I know what happens after the anime ends and stuff like that. And I was very interested and excited to watch all those fights because that's very much a fight where individuals are powerhouses and they go up against each other in like duels. Loved it, and it's coming back, but it had a really rough end. So a lot of people felt the ending was really rushed and cheap, but it was a consequence of the situation surrounding it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I still liked the arc. I mean, the ending was. I agree the ending was very stupid. I really enjoyed the combat that we saw, and I could see he still had some great ideas that could have gotten more air to breathe. But yeah. So Code Geass, I was talking about earlier in this week that there's going to be 2-hour-long movies. Not two 2-hour-long movies. There are 3 2-hour-long movies of Code Geass before we get to the new one that we're supposed to watch for the alternate timeline.
Yeah.
But the movies that we had to watch, they're just crunched down versions of the anime that we've already seen like very recently, like last month or something. And it seemed like a waste to do a whole reaction video to something that we've seen 80% of just to see the small little changes. So I was thinking what we could do is we do watch the movies ourselves and we film it, but when it comes to actual video, to help cut down the process that it's just going to be jump cuts essentially to what has changed in the world. And then the ending discussion will be us speculating about what that changes about the world overall, how we feel about it, stuff like that. If you guys have any other ideas or any thoughts on that, because I mean personally I just think it would be very not weird in a immoral sense. I think it's odd for us to have just watched this whole thing and then do a movie reaction to something we've already seen, and then split the views essentially, because like we've already, if you want to see the details, it's over there because that's not crunched.
I agree with you. I think that's good. That's a good plan. Maybe watch out for any moments where we're like, hey, I didn't notice that the first time around or something like that, because that'll happen. That happened for you. And I don't know, you probably won't pick up anything new on the third time around, but I don't know, anything like that for sure. Jump and cut, like hash and slash and hack and whatever they call it.
The hash and slash and slasher. Remember from SpongeBob? Do you remember that episode?
No.
Anyway.
But yeah, cut it up, because honestly, if you are interested in seeing that one scene reaction, go through the episode. You know.
Akira the Exile, I was talking to a commenter. It's so much better than I expected it to be. It immediately was hooked, and it's honestly trading blows with Code Geass in which one I enjoyed more.
Oh really? It's honestly, it could have been its own anime.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's so separate.
It doesn't behave like an OVA, and I think that's what makes it so good.
Yes.
I agree. I feel like it's what you feel with, I want to say, some of these other shows that go for like 6 episodes, where they, or maybe it's a little bit of the opposite. Some of these episodes, the shows that go for 6 episodes, sometimes they feel like they're dragging it out to 6 episodes, and sometimes it feels like they're crunching it into 6 episodes. I feel like Aikido, so much happens. It feels like we've been going for like episodes and episodes and episodes, but it's just been 4, you know? And it definitely feels like they could have made a whole like season out of this. It could have been a season 2 and 2.5, you know, between.
I mean,
however,
could have gotten 12 episodes.
However, I do feel it's so distant from Code Geass. Like, even with the showing face of Lelouch and Suzaku, it's like they're peripheral in this. We just get to see them every now and then and wonder what's going on. Like, why are you here? Like, we are asking the main characters from Code Geass why they're in Code Geass. Why? Doesn't that mean something? You know what I mean? So it's like Aikido is just its own creature. It's pretty cool though. I have enjoyed it though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was almost wishing that the other OVAs would be something like that. Obviously they're not. But it shows me what they can do, and this studio definitely, as an anime-only studio, I've never seen an anime-only that's been as good and as put together. So it makes me excited to know what else they can do.
Is it the studio or the writer?
Well, I believe the studio bankrolled it, so they would have put everyone together, but I'm not...
Because
I mean, there is a writer. Yeah,
I know there's a writer. So who's kind of... I guess my question is, who is... in charge of the pushing of the story in a certain direction? Because you can have the writer that maybe has a skeleton or a main idea. So he's the director of the studio.
I just remembered because we have briefly gone over that. Yeah. So Goro Taniguchi, he had this. It was his very first, and he did a big success. And sort of, wow, you're really good at this.
Okay.
Because remember, it was originally greenlit for like 4 episodes, and it blew them all away with how good it was.
Right. Okay. So the director of the studio. So the studio gets the credit basically.
Yeah. Okay. So he's been an anime director, writer, producer, and a storyboard artist. So
he's been all
the things.
Been everywhere. Yeah. And then, this is, I wanted to talk about the One Piece thing, but I think we're not all super well versed on mangas in depth, so I'll pass over that for now. But something interesting happened in the world of Crunchyroll. So there's a union fight going on.
Ooh.
So as you may or may not know, Crunchyroll had been recently acquired by Sony, and from
was that what happened?
Everybody?
I thought it was just a merger with Crunchyroll and Funimation. Was that because That's after Crunchyroll gets acquired by Sony.
Sony acquires Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll is now recently merging with Funimation. Okay. But Sony's huge, and Crunchyroll originally was owned by AT&T. Didn't expect that when I read that.
No.
AT&T got their fingers in everything.
But what happened is, so there's, remember how we were talking about that simulcasting, where they want to release in both Japan and in the English world at the exact same time. Well, to do that, it would require a lot of studio crunch because Crunchyroll and Funimation had switched over to remote recording during the pandemic, and they're trying to get everybody back in the studio because the overlords want a very specific way of it being done in the studio. And for this to happen, Kyle McCarley, he's the voice of Shigeo on the English dub. He wanted a certain, basically, terms for him to come in and do this because he's a part of SAG-AFTRA, the union.
Yeah.
And he's been negotiating with them for a while, and then the people higher ups, I don't want to like label exactly who, it's just essentially the guys higher up said, okay, just cast somebody else. And they're just moving them out of the spot because they do not like working with unions.
Oh my god.
This is huge.
Wait. Say again, who is it that doesn't want to work with unions? Is it Japan? Crunchyroll, but is it Japan or America?
Well, it's a Sony owns
Sony,
Crunchyroll.
I don't know who owns
Sony is a Japanese company.
Japanese, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Because America is kind of on their knees to unions. So Japan coming against it makes sense. Like, Japan, what are you talking about? That's your problem, not mine.
Japan are like, you see these starving artists over here? We're going to keep them that way.
Exactly.
I wanted to read a bit of this for you guys so you can understand the situation a bit more. So, voice actor Cal McCarn revealed in a YouTube video, I have the link, I'll put it in the description, but I wouldn't watch it here, said in a video on Tuesday that he may not return to anime's protagonist Shigeo. This is because Crunchyroll is not complying with his request that the company meet Screen Actors Guild, the union, standards. Union representatives were to negotiate a potential contract on future productions. And he says, it has been made abundantly clear to me that the season 3 of Mob Psycho 100, Crunchyroll is not going to be producing that show as a SAG-AFTRA contract. And McCarley is a SAG-AFTRA union member, and he has been for a long time, and usually does not work with non-union dubs. This notably happened with, let me see if I can find the anime name here. Yeah, refused to work on Scarlet Nexus anime series because it was non-union. So he has a track record of this, but they were still working with him because, one, he's just good at his job. But they have complied in the past. So he was kind of expecting that same level of working with him.
Yeah.
McCarley.
Yes, he goes on to say, I don't know why they're so firmly anti-union that they won't even agree to have a conversation about it. I feel like it was a pretty reasonable request, but you have to ask them why they appear to disagree. So essentially he's put it out there that he was not only negotiating, but he was making fairly light terms, and they were stonewalling him. They weren't really responding at all. And then after a while of them like saying, come into work, it's like, okay, here's what I want, come into work, here's what I want. They just said, okay, let's get someone else. So no negotiations. None. Yeah.
So the voice actors are these are the voice actors that is not union is for the English dub.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's why it doesn't matter to me. I was like, is the Japanese, because I'm like, in my head I'm like, this doesn't matter, but I can't remember. I can't think why.
My brain has discarded this already, and I can't figure out why.
Yes, I was having trouble following. Anyways, it's because it's the English dub that is having trouble with this, but the Japanese voices will be the same. Are we planning to watch the Japanese sub? Or
yeah.
No? Okay.
We're gonna watch sub.
Okay.
Yeah,
We just every now and then do dubs.
Yeah, when it's requested by the people.
Or when it's exceptionally good, because honestly I prefer us to do dub.
It's easier to edit.
No, not easier to edit, just easier, because I still have to put in the subtitles. It's easier for us to react to, I feel like. It's just when we're watching dubs, I feel like there's less lag time on the responses.
That is true.
More immediate on things happening.
I have noticed that when I'm making shorts or TikToks, if it's a sub video, like there is a very tangible lag time with the time it takes us to read and then react. Like it'll happen in the scene already. Like something big happens on the screen, but we're still reading the subtitles. Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I had to shave down like a couple video segments because of it.
Oh.
Like it's a very, very long. Like sometimes they'll just have a massive block of words.
Yeah.
The thing is happening, and then we laugh after it's occurred. And so what I'll do is I'll cut the video out and then move the laughter over to where it should be on the video. Because we're laughing at that.
Yeah.
It's just because we're laughing after the fact. It's just weird. And it throws everything off.
That's brilliant.
Good job.
Good job.
But yeah, this is a massive article. He made a YouTube video. It got fairly large amount of views for his channel size.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are interested, there it is in the description. Listen, I personally did see the English dub version of Mob Psycho. I actually really enjoyed his voice. He felt very detached and bored.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's a shame that this is happening. But I think at this point, it's to be expected that there are just some industries that if they don't have to pay more, if they don't have to treat you well, they just won't.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, businesses aren't your friend. They're the guys
They're
at
there
the
to
top.
make money.
The job for them is to please shareholders and make money.
Mm-hmm.
You, on the very bottom, your job is to just do your job, and so your interest is for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to get into a whole conversation about it, but the whole idea of unions, I had to study like a whole history union class on labor unions. And we studied both sides of the argument, and they both make legitimate arguments. But like, the point of a union is because of this, because they take advantage of the little man, and they will pay you as little as feasibly possible.
Yeah.
It's unions why we have minimum wage.
Yeah.
You know, and there are people who don't like minimum wage. They still argue that, and will forever argue that. But I mean, what are you gonna do? It's kind of, this is a corporation, this is their goal, and their goals don't align with humanity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of gotta force their hand a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to see a positive in this, it's that they're very dedicated to getting the simulcast out there, and they're not going to really let anything slow it down. Which, to me, at least says that they are taking the English fans very seriously. And they're going to try to please them.
I think that makes sense because the English fan base is growing.
Very
for
big.
sure.
Yeah.
Actors now talk about their favorite animes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it used to be something that only really, it was considered very nerdy to even bring up. But occasionally now you'll hear somebody say how they liked One Punch Man, like my favorite comedian Bill Burr just tweeted about it.
Really? I like Bill Burr.
Yeah, he was just saying like he had some weird philosophical view on it. And, I mean, I could see where he was coming from.
Yeah.
But he was saying like he was watching Netflix, and I think it was Netflix, and he just saw this thing about this bald head guy and just hit it because he was bored. And he's like, yeah, so you can see like how it's really talking about how the world is like grinding you down, and you only obsessions really allow you to express yourself. And so like, this guy was really obsessive about eating lobster because that's his only escape from the world, and you can see he was wearing a tie, and so he was like an overworked businessman, but then he essentially got gluttonous, and I could see where he's coming from. But I don't know how his mind went there.
Wow. I guess you can read philosophy into anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta see that interview now.
He got mad after a while because after he said that, his Twitter feed just flooded with fans saying, "Oh, you like anime?
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone, you nerds."
Oh, poor guy.
But speaking of mangas, even though it wasn't, so the writer for JoJo and Attack on Titan's anime, they're starting their own manga.
Oh, wow.
So they're very, very well versed.
Ooh.
JoJo and Attack on Titan.
Two huge shows.
Oh my gosh.
So he also penned, Kobayashi is penning the story while Nonayama is doing the art.
Interesting.
The manga is set in a world where no matter the circumstances, everyone who commits murder is themselves sentenced to death. Those on death row are imprisoned in the 6 prison districts, where there's a strange economic system emerging. But yeah, so he's doing this.
Interesting. Sounds like a cool setup.
Yeah.
I usually don't
Especially-
read animes, but...
Especially with a little girl coming off in one of them. I don't know. I feel like she lives in the district. She murdered someone
Probably.
by accident somehow. Maybe not by
Or born.
accident.
The
Or born in there.
girl in purple on the cover
Is
reminds
that a
me
girl?
Dude.
Is that a girl though?
reminds me of Pearl from Ace. What is it? Phoenix Wright.
Let's see.
You don't remember Pearl? It's Maya's little cousin.
What is this show called?
Phoenix Wright?
Oh, don't know.
Legendary.
Objection!
Nope.
Oh my gosh. We have failed you.
Oh, I've heard of it. It's the one with the judge. The memed one.
Yes.
I've never seen it though. I've only ever seen that one or many scenes of that one scene.
Yeah, there was a time when he and I would just sit down and watch the game playthrough.
Yeah.
We would just, I don't know.
Oh, it's a game or is it anime?
It's a game that's practically an anime.
Oh, it's
It
like
has
got a
anime
million
now.
cutscenes
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it has some movies.
Okay.
The game is like a visual novel in that
Right.
only the correct choices will let you progress. But other than that, you're kind of on rails to see how the story unfolds. It's a detective game in itself as well, because this lawyer has to do everything himself. But you figure out the case, you figure out who really did it, and you defend your client because you're a defense attorney. And you go up against fairly regular prosecutors who are against you, who happen to be his childhood friends.
Miles, what was his name?
Edgeworth.
Miles Edgeworth.
Legendary.
All that I see between this and the last picture was purple.
Well, when Pearl would I cannot remember Maya's older sister's name, but when she transforms into Maya's older sister, she looks like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat. That's definitely a dude, though. Listen,
yeah.
man, that's a dude.
Yeah,
Really
after looking for a little, especially the neck.
And this
The neck is weird.
line mouth with pointy nose like this is usually
Why does
guys.
the neck look weird?
Girls get the tiny.
It looks like the head is like trying to escape from the
That is
rest of
true.
the body.
I just had a messed up thought. What if the reason this little girl is here is because she killed her mom in childbirth?
Oh my gosh, that would make sense because they emphasized
How's
for any reason because it's like
Yeah.
what is a really stupid reason to commit someone to prison for murder, like murder, and that makes a lot of sense. So she's been in jail since she was born. That would be crazy.
Wild.
That would make this show even more interesting.
What's even more wild is that they allowed them to build a Ferris wheel. Apparently.
Everybody goes in here, even the engineers. But yeah, and from here I wanted to go to Rose Rants. Yeah. So what have you been watching, Rose?
I have to remember what I was watching. I was watching something, and it was one of those. All right, it was an anime, and I can't remember the name, but I watched it for a while, and then it was like, is this a harem anime? And I was like, oh yeah, it must be.
Can you describe it so I can find it?
I think it's an isekai. Yeah, it was an isekai.
Okay.
She doesn't even remember anything about this.
I've
Did you like
already
binge
forgotten.
through it? Did you just go like and run away?
Pretty much.
I was supposed to rant about this, even have no idea what it is.
It's just like it's because it's one of those things when isekai he clearly has a love interest, but everybody else is also in love with him, and he absolutely refuses to reject them properly. I was just like, well, actually, he did reject somebody properly, which that's the only reason I continued.
Because you're like, oh,
I
he
was
actually
like-
did that.
I'm so proud of you, sir.
Do you remember any names or anything that we can use to
Powers.
look it up? Powers. Nothing.
Nothing.
Setting.
Was it in a marketplace? In a mountain?
He's male.
He's okay, so he usually has black hair, but on the cover for some reason he has like this platinum blonde hair, and I'm like, he wore that disguise like literally 2 episodes. Why is this the front cover? Like, what's going on? You know?
Nah, this isn't gonna find it. I'm just.
No. But he's wearing black as well. I don't know if that helps.
Were you watching anything else that you actually saw?
ReZero comes
I
up.
think I did, but I can't remember what it was.
It's the worst Rose Rants.
You need to keep track of what you're watching. This is your job.
I remember watching it and being like, oh man, I can't wait to rant about this. And then it just left my brain.
You didn't write it down.
No. I think it was on my computer though. But I was sifting through. Ooh, there was another season of.
Yeah. It's just like going, and I keep expecting more, and you're just like, I can't remember everything. Ooh, there was that. But yeah, I don't know what it happened. Like, what are you saying, man?
It was funny is I can't remember what I saw either. Like a new season of what?
Oh, well, I actually have something.
Okay.
You said you read it. The Great Duke of Hell came back.
Oh yes.
Yes. Is that what it was?
No, it was an anime,
Okay.
but The Great Duke of Hell did come back, and it's still great. I feel like there's not as much it doesn't hit as hard with the face gags as it did in like season 1, I guess. Season
What do you mean
1.
face gags? Like facial expressions?
Yeah, the facial. Oh my gosh, the facial expressions were incredible. Chef's
It's the
kiss.
best.
Really?
Best I've ever seen.
I have never laughed so consistently at anything in my life. It's hilarious. Like, I'm literally the Duke of Hell. Did you just call me here to ask for my advice about love?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And he's like, yeah.
I remember.
And so craziness ensues.
Yeah.
And twists and plot twists that you didn't know you needed in your life. It's great.
Interesting. Like, it sounds like a very, like, comedic type of show.
It is.
It is, but it has plot.
It has plot.
It's incredible.
Oh.
It's the kind that you could actually theorize and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
So,
favorite kind.
what holds us back from reacting?
It's a manga.
Oh, you're reading this.
Yeah, it's a webtoon.
Webtoon.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how we gonna react to it.
Well, they would have to be like that one really dedicated YouTuber who turns it into a video tune for us.
or we because webtoon is also online, so maybe we could just bring it up on a computer screen and record our screen while we're scrolling, and each of us like
take turns reading it. That would be cool.
Oh man, my reading skills are gonna be put on blast. Oh no.
Just work on it a little bit, babe.
Just read really slowly.
I'm fairly certain that will one day get an anime. Like, maybe I'm a bit naive about this, but that is both popular and it is one of the highest quality mangas, webtoons that's on that site. It's very well known on the site, and the next step up is getting that manga status, and it's gonna get it. 100%.
Nice.
It is funny. It is on point. It has a plot. So many other shows I wish they could be as funny as it.
It's so hilarious.
Can they translate it to animation though, you think?
I think they could.
You think so?
It's not that demanding. It's
No, I
really
mean,
not.
animating wise is not the problem. It's like making sure it's because jokes rely heavily on timing,
Yeah.
you know, and setting it up properly. So like in they have it like down for a written type of written form.
Yeah.
But like translating, I wonder if they'll be able to translate it to movement. You know, to get that.
I don't know how they would translate the art, because the art is very unique. It's very
Is it like scribbly?
not
No.
quite.
You could tell.
But like it's more like not the way the people look. It's more the rendering is very desaturated, but still somehow very expressive. It's great. I love it.
Let's see if we can find a decent panel here.
Right. This is what I was picturing in my head.
This is a meme.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. The art style is very different. It's almost closer to realistic style drawing.
I wonder how I can't imagine it
More anime.
animated. Yeah.
Listen, man, they put some crazy things to screen. Like, have you seen that dancing thing? What's it called?
What?
Dance France or something like that.
Oh.
That
What?
Yeah. That
dancing.
dancing anime.
With the necks.
The necks are wild.
Not
Right
that.
neck.
Oh, this one. This Danseur.
Just right neck.
Oh, well, look at that.
Oh my gosh. What the heck?
Oh, those necks aren't even as bad as I've seen.
There is a one that's worse than this, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
He's
my
even
gosh.
just
He's
holding
like-
his neck
His
like
whole
that.
hand. What is happening to this computer?
You just skipped everything.
Oh, there it is
There
again.
it is.
Like his whole hand is on his neck and it's still not completely covering it.
Wow.
So the reason they have this is because posture is everything in
So
dancing.
it's kind of showing that they're just standing up
Yeah,
straight.
it's to show. It's to, you're basically being the art and the painting.
Just read the
And the award for longest neck that's not meant to be a gag in anime goes to... Wait, click on this one because it shows even clearer like how much longer his neck is than his.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ever seen those people with the rings around their necks?
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of people do that anymore, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. They get pretty long necks.
Yeah. I'll put up a video for you
Yeah.
guys.
A video?
picture.
A picture.
Uh,
The Cayenne long neck woman. So what's interesting is their necks are not being elongated. It's their shoulders are being pushed down.
oh.
They took an X-ray,
Yeah.
and what happens is their collarbone forms over time to like arc down to support the shoulders, which is why if you see them standing up, it looks like they have very long arms, but it's just that the entire frame is lower, so it looks like they have longer arms.
Interesting.
X-ray. Let's see right here.
Oh my gosh.
Like, see, that's a normal one, and then see how it bends down.
Oh yeah, it goes from there.
To
So
very
it doesn't
forward.
move. Yeah, it's not moving. It's just like everything is like shifting underneath it. That's interesting. Crazy.
I saw someone one time say, like, man, I wonder how they eventually figured out the right way to do this. And then someone replied, you think there's a right way to do this? They're survivors, man.
Yeah, like the right way.
Yeah, it's funny.
What you saying?
Also, so we've got some animes coming back. Which one are you most excited for between what's this? Attack on Titan, Mob Psycho, and we just got the Vinland?
Yeah, Vinland's coming back next year.
I thought you were saying that's the one you're most excited
Oh,
for.
no, I was just saying that's also in the list.
Well, yeah, amongst those, and I guess you can throw Mandalorian in there because it just got its trailer out.
Oh,
so
really?
it's still on track for February. So, what are you most excited for to come back?
Mob.
Mob?
Yeah.
Really?
I really enjoyed
Hero
mine.
Academia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny. I'm not looking forward to that one as much.
I just rewatched some scenes.
And it
I
made you
was like,
excited.
Yeah.
This is the stuff. It's funny. The OVAs should have been that. They should have been the thing to make you, yes, I'm ready to go back in. But it didn't for me. I feel like, especially the Smiley one, that was prime meat to show like some sort of conflict or something brewing for the guys, because we get to see the guys again, which are like the main thing,
bros.
you know,
The guys,
the bros,
hanging
the crew,
out with the boys,
the gang. Yeah. So, and we just got, you know, Deku being Deku, you know, and winning by the power of friendship.
Yeah. That is what happened.
Yeah,
indeed.
It was just filler to me, and I feel like they should have used it more to get you excited again, you know?
Teasers for the main dish.
Yeah. But yeah, I do agree. But I just watched like the scene from, what was it? A Tale of Two? Was it A Tale of Two Heroes? The one where he is fighting with the villain who. Hold on, I have to remember how this goes. The girl is the daughter of an inventor, and the villain is trying to get at the inventor to create something to make
that
him
one with
stronger than All Might.
the big thing with
Yeah,
All Might.
I
That
just
was
watched-
a good one.
Oh
So
my
good.
gosh, it
That
was so
was
good.
good.
And then I saw All Might's pose
Yeah.
again, right before he.
Oh, those were the
smashed
good
it.
old days.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I cannot wait for this to come back.
So this is actually, I'm not going to say like 50% or 40%, but there's a sizable amount of people, like 20%, who are starting to feel like My Hero's kind of stopped being as great as it was. I will say the last 2 seasons, I was waiting for the big pop off, and while I did get some of that in Doofenshmirtz, I didn't really feel like the guy who they blew the legs off of, the one with the stress powers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What is his? Oh, you just call him Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah.
It's accurate.
Yeah, I know.
You ever seen the meme?
Yeah,
No, I
I
haven't.
remember I saw it.
I'll pull it up right now.
It was like, you must see this.
Doofenshmirtz. Internet will understand.
There you go.
Oh.
Look at that.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
yes, I have seen this. It is basically Doofenshmirtz.
It
Yes.
really is.
Think about
Evil
it.
Incorporated.
The best part is, I think it is canon. And I think the writer 100% knew what he was doing, because this guy is an inventor. He had terrible childhood with the parents. His parents weren't around. All the inventions that everybody had, their names were cheesy as hell. They're innators. I can't remember one name, but they're
This
innators.
is wonderful.
What the heck?
Stress-based
He
powers.
must have been a Phineas and Ferb fan. And he's like, I gotta make it iconic. Oh my gosh! This makes him sweeter to me now.
Tower.
Yes, he did.
Had a tower.
In the middle of nowhere.
Oh my gosh! I don't know why that makes me very happy all of a sudden.
Know.
I love him now.
And we know the writer knows a lot about pop culture because he names a lot of things after like Star Wars or something that's in Disney.
Yeah.
And he does. Is Doofenshmirtz's pants are green, right? He wears a green.
I don't remember. I think it's black though.
Doofenshmirtz wears a black top and green pants. I thought.
Let's see.
It is
green.
You're right.
Gosh.
Yeah.
This is just the best thing.
Oh my gosh.
This has made my day.
It has.
I mean, before I
Same.
thought it was like coincidence.
Yeah, no.
But now I'm like, this is fate.
It's fate. It's canon.
It's destiny.
It's real. Forever. But yeah, back to the point that we're talking
What
about.
we're talking about.
Well, do you feel like the show has gone into a deep lull? Like, personally, I just want to, like, yeah, I do think it has. I think, like, when we go back and watch the earlier seasons, like, the first season took the world by storm. Everyone was like, wow, this is amazing, that fight with the Nomu. The second season, it was like, okay, we have to have some time to build up. And there was still excitement with more Nomus. And then we peaked, I think it was the third season we dealt with All for One. Was it the third season?
I don't remember. What?
Yeah.
The peak was All for One for sure, but I don't remember.
The peak was All for One. I don't remember what season.
Well, if we're on season 6 coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely 3, because the last 2 were after All Might declined.
But yeah, I remember all of 4 being like, when is something big gonna happen? And I kept feeling like it was getting to that point. And then 5, the intro made it seem like some bad stuff was gonna happen in this season, and nothing happened. We got a good backstory.
Yeah.
And they're doing it again for season 6, so I hope they deliver. Go ahead.
Although the fight with Overhaul for Eri was incredible.
That was good.
That was good.
I think that should have been the season ender. If they had made that more, maybe they couldn't drag it out more than they did. Maybe that was the problem. Because that was so epic and so, consequential. Like, to have this power with Eri become, like, end up in the wrong hands is like, serious. You can't do that. And then that whole fight with dealing, like, how Deku won that fight, that was epic.
Yeah.
But I do kind of agree that it's not been hitting hard like it used to, for sure. And I think I've said it enough. Like, it kind of is echoed in these OVAs where it's kind of hollow. Like, the OVAs were more hollow, I think, than the season. The season was more. There's more to it, and I enjoyed it, but it definitely wasn't as hype as before. I think the last time I felt super hype was when All Might's ended and pointed at the screen, and Baku realized he was talking to Deku, and that was Bakugo, Deku. Yeah, Bakugo realized he was talking to Deku at that point, and that kind of that whole scene was like the most. That's the last moment I remember being like. After that, everything was kind of not as exciting.
Yeah.
Christmas beach. Okay.
They were like, I agree. There were some moments that were like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool story, but it wasn't like the fights that we wanted to see. You know, like the moment with Aizawa finding out that Phantom Boy is actually his friend.
Oh yeah, that one was interesting.
Yeah. And there was another one, and Deku getting a second power and learning that we're gonna be getting more powers.
Yes, that was good too.
Cool. That was awesome. I wish he practiced more with it during the season, because I wanted to see that. But it feels like they were just
they really threw it aside a little
let's just not think about this right now.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, I think he said that. He was like, I need to perfect the power that I actually have before I start training with this one.
But then I think he started trying to control it a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I remember there's confusion about that, because he was saying like, I'll never use this, then he used it, and then there's like, I can only use it in dire situations, then he used it again anyway.
Yeah.
So we were like, wait, what's going on?
What's happening?
What are the stipulations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Translation error? I don't know. But yeah, I still like My Hero, but for sure, other shows are getting more excited for me.
Weirdly enough, I'm most excited for Vinland Saga.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be, because you're like the history buff, and you're like, this is the most epic history story ever. It's like animated history smashed and made a baby.
It's just what?
That came out wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just with Thorfinn's story is really interesting, but I'm not watching it for Thorfinn. I'm watching it for how the world is changing and for the things that happen. Like Thorkel is my favorite character so far, but he isn't invincible. He's getting progressively more messed up as the show has gone on. I want to see what the world's like after Athelstan. I want to see what the world's like if the kingdoms change, and most importantly with the new season, are we even going to see a war? Because Thorfinn's like, I'm done with all this. Yeah. So what is it going to be about? So I'm kind of excited just to see what direction it takes it. Because this show very much feels like something where, oddly enough, despite the fact it's following the script of history, it still acts like anything could happen. It's and true. I get that feeling more than animes which are actually made up.
Yeah. You tell the truth, sir. I think part of the reason it feels that way too is because it's telling a history that is not like the full details of which are not known. You know, we know some things, but like there's so much you could say happened, and it could be true, it could not be true, you don't know. You know, and a lot of things, especially because we're dealing with these details of this kid's life, and the things that are happening are they're like kind of, they're world turning, but in a small part of the world. Yeah. You know, so I don't know.
For the part of the world we care about.
Yeah. But I do look forward to Vinland Saga, but it was definitely an emotional show. Not quite Code Geass. I think it was definitely in the direction of Code Geass.
Yeah, unpredictability maybe. Yeah, but I don't know. Like overall, Code Geass is still like extremely high up there in terms of like as an art. Yeah, it's up there. But in terms of like storytelling, I do think I am enjoying Vinland Saga more, just because it feels like a progression of something that should be happening naturally, but also there's a wildness to it.
It is wild.
Like you feel the chaos of the world.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now just of the scenes where Thorkel's chasing Askeladd and the gang. Yeah, and that how all that went down. Like I did not see that coming. Like how everything happened. You knew they might catch up, but you kind of felt no. They'll escape, right? This is anime. They don't escape. Like, I didn't see that happening at all. So, like, the show definitely had its unpredictable moments and the chaos that happened and, like, everything. I'm thinking of so many things. I don't want to give spoilers. But, yeah, great show.
I also just want to make note. There's just this one thing. Is throughout history, you can track people. And I know it's very obvious as you follow the tracks and you can tell that there's been activity here and following that, but I've never really felt the dread as much as I did in Vinland Saga of being chased. Yeah. Because there's so many times where I know it logically makes sense that they can find you. It's just something like, how do they find you? Just get off the horse, walk for a little bit, or just run in the random direction. No one's going to be able to find you. Yeah. But you felt this unbearable weight of Thorkel coming behind you and him seeing the tracks and seeing the campfires. Like, yeah, it makes sense that he's going to follow you, and then you see him on the horizon. It's just dread. We're in the medieval ages. How can he follow us? But he can. It makes sense, and nothing we can do. Loved it. But yeah, do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Me personally, no.
No.
This is an interesting stance. How do you feel about that?
One thing I will say is I don't think I enjoyed Vinland Saga as much as you guys did. I was just kind of... I sat down and watched it because I was made to. Oh. When I was like, oh.
No, I do remember in the beginning, Vinland Saga was hard for me to get into, but I did eventually get into it. And I was definitely like very captured by the characters by the end, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it that much. I hear it's coming back and it's really popular. I'm sorry.
We'll see how season 2 is. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those things that I was like, if I was watching it week by week,
you'd probably forget to watch it.
Probably would have just stopped watching it after episode 3 or something like that.
Well, yeah, I understand that. It took me a while to get into it.
Is it your least favorite show we've reacted to?
Probably.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember everything we've reacted to.
Even the Cells That Works?
Yeah, Cells That Works. I enjoyed that more.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. I'm surprised. And I was also kind of surprised to hear that your favorite show coming back was My Hero Academia. But, yeah, it just goes to show there's different tastes.
You know what? That actually really surprised me because I feel like My Hero is more mainstream and you're such like a weeb. Yeah. It would make more sense that you'd pick something more niche I don't know, like if Bakano is coming back. It's like, no, that's my favorite.
If
Bakano is coming back,
it'd be all of our favorite.
Yeah. But no, I am surprised that you chose My Hero.
So speaking of Bakano, we need to put Durarara on the list. We need to see it eventually.
Fine. It's a good show.
Yeah.
It is. It's just I went in wanting more Bakano, and that's not what you get.
Yeah.
Funny enough, most people on the list, it's usually Bakano and Durarara right next to each other in like all-time favorite rankings. Durarara is always above Bakano, and I'll never forgive them for that. But yeah, so guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you like the time here, please leave a like and subscribe if you would like to see more. Remember to check Patreon and the description if you want both Patreon, but the links as well to everything that we have should also be down there as well if you want to read that for yourself. And thank you very much for being here. We'll see you next time. See you in the city. Bye-bye.
Bye.